back with Gwinnett Lawns in beautiful, well, it's raining and we're waiting on Tropical Storm Helene. Atlanta, Georgia. Today is September the 26th, 2024. And yesterday I told you on the video that I was going to talk to you about how I price leaf jobs, right? So we are starting to see the leaves turning on some of the trees. Some of that's from the drought, but there's quite a few leaves that have already fallen. So our main leaf season really doesn't hit till the middle of October, November, December, and January. And I'm going to tell you what I do. So there's basically two categories that you could talk about for leaf jobs. And the first one, garbage truck. The first one is customers that are not yet my customers, right? They're not mowing customers. These are people that have called up and they say, hey, we'd like to get leaf removal, leaf cleanup. Sorry about that. Republic Services. We'd like to get a leaf cleanup estimate, whatever. So when I price leaf jobs, it is a minimum of $250 minimum for a non-mowing customer. Now, depending on how much leaves have already fallen, depending on whether I can blow them into like a natural area wood line or whether we have to mulch them up. It's also depending on whether the leaves are super dry, are they moist, has it rained. You know, if it's the middle of December and it's got a month and a half worth of rain and it's starting to decay, all that affects the price and the price goes up. So my minimum leaf cleanup is going to be $250. Now, I do not, except under very rare circumstances, remove leaves. If somebody wants them removed from the property, I don't do that. And the reason I don't is because while I do have a leaf trailer, I have found that I can't price it properly in order to make it worthwhile for me to go back and forth to the dump or the landfill. There is a landfill, excuse me, that is a couple miles from here, but it's pretty expensive and it's not well maintained. It gets very, very muddy. It's just not easy to do. If I had a dump trailer, I would be more open to doing actual leaf removals, but it is extremely labor intensive to do that. I don't have a debris loader. I don't have a setup. If I'm going to pull the leaf trailer, I have to do it with this Tundra because the Chevy right there has the ramp, mow and go ramp on the back. So I'm not taking that off just to go haul some leaves. So I try to discourage against it. If somebody insists on it, then they'll just have to find somebody else because I just don't have the equipment to do it. And it's very hard for me to tell you how much to price a yard. A lot of them I've done for $500, $600. I just have to kind of guess and see what it's going to take. The longer you wait in the season, the more it's going to be. So people that call me up in the middle of January and February, it's expensive. It's going to be expensive. I tell them that. I say, look, you know, you've got an entire season's worth of leaves here. It's going to be expensive. And so that's not the most amount of leaf jobs that I do. Most of the leaf jobs that I do are my mowing customers. Okay, so this is what I do, and this has worked very, very well for me, and you may want to try and integrate it into your business. So as the grass starts to slow down, which it's doing now, mostly because of no rain, we're getting a lot of rain now, but the temperature is not, it's not going to, well, it could still get in the 90s a little bit. I mean, it's been, you can do that in October, but it's, at night is where it really matters. Once 70 degrees and lower, centipede, Bermuda, and zoysias start to really slow down. But I do have some customers that have weeds and stuff, and those grow as long as we get moisture. So what I do is, and I'll let the customer know that as the grass slows down, and if they don't have trees in the yard, obviously once we're done mowing, then we won't be back till the first week of March, unless they want some type of other maintenance like bed maintenance, bushes, or anything like that. But as far as leaves, almost all of my customers have big oak trees in the yard, pine trees, and a variety of other things like river birches, crepe myrtles that just dump leaves everywhere. So what I will do is I will go back on schedule every 2 weeks, just like nothing changes. We'll just come back every 2 weeks so the leaves never build up. Now, if the customer allows us to do that, which 99% of the time they do, I don't charge anything extra. So whatever we charge for mowing, let's say it's $89 or $99, whatever we charge for the mowing, we'll blow out the beds real fast, and then we will mulch the leaves up with the Trim Stars. I have the Ballard Ripper blades on there, and they are 100% just phenomenal at mulching up leaves to where there's nothing left. It's just basically it turns into dust. That's what we'll do. Now, if they want the leaves, again, if they want them hauled off, if they want something extra done, there's some customers where we don't have to mulch them. We can just blow them into the woods because they live next to woods. That's an option too. I don't charge any extra for my customers, because if my customers are going to keep me working during the winter, then I'm not charging them extra for leaf cleanup. Now, I have had some customers that say, hey, we're gonna, you can stop coming. And then a month later, they say, hey, we want to get the leaves cleaned up. Well, now we're talking, it's going to be more money. I'm not going to do the minimum of $250 on my customers, but it just depends on the amount of leaves. So that's what I do. Now, if I have a customer that wants us to do, all right, so let's just take the example of an $89 yard. I come every 2 weeks, it's $89. If you want me to only come once a month, it's going to be more than, so 89 is $188 that you've paid me over a month. It's going to be more, probably around $250 to $275, because now there's a month's worth of leaves on the grass. So I try to discourage that because it just makes it harder for us and takes up more time. But I have lost money, like literally lost money on leaf jobs, because some of my customers' yards have just a copious amount of leaves, and then we go there and they got beds to blow out and all that other stuff, and I end up paying the guy that works with me by the hour. I end up paying him so much that it was more than the job was worth, and that doesn't happen very often, and it's always my fault, right? If I see that there's going to be that much headache because of, and it's usually because they told us don't, the grass is not growing, so don't come back, and then they, and I didn't charge them for a leaf cleanup. But going forward, obviously that's not sustainable. So going forward, yeah, it's going to cost more, and I'm just going to be upfront with them and tell them, look, you got a lot of leaves. It's gonna be this price, and you risk losing a mowing customer sometimes because they think that you're going to work for, they don't expect you to work for free, but all they see is, you used to come to do the grass and it's this price. But I think 99% of the time, if you will explain to your customer, explain to them either verbally or an email or text or phone call or something, that because you have so much leaves, it's a time thing, and if they're happy with your service, you're probably not going to lose them, okay? But I am not working for free, or I'm not going to work so much to where I make where the cost of the labor was more than the cost of the job. I just not gonna do it. I'll sit here in the garage and make another video for you guys. I'm not. And it's happened to all of us. Sometimes pricing leaf jobs, I will price them, if they're really, really a big leaf job, I do it by the hour. I charge them, I'm like, look, I did that one time, I was there all 9 hours. I was there for 9 hours. I charged them $95 an hour. And it was just me working. It was actually me and the homeowner. But they were completely fine with that because I told them, I'm like, I can't price this. This just, I have no idea how long this is going to take me because there was several years worth of leaves and it was a huge backyard. And I told him, I said, there really wasn't any place to put the leaves. And I said, well, I'm going to make a suggestion to you. I can't do it, but you can. I said, you can burn the leaves. I'll be happy to blow them in a pile and you just light them up and burn them. And that's what they did. Got rid of all of them. And that was the yard that it was infested with copperhead snakes. I didn't see any, but they had killed several, like I think 4 or 5 before I had gotten there that day. But I did it by the hour. And I do some customers because the yard is so extensive. I'm like, look, to make this fair on you and me, I said I could price this at $1,500 or you, and I don't know, or. And they're shocked. Or I said, and my minimum price would be probably $110 now. But that's guaranteed. And then I can just, I may take 2 minutes to get some water, but I don't mess around. You're not going to see me mess around on the phone. I will have that blower on my back and won't stop except to fill it up. So every 55 minutes, you hear me stopping and filling it up, and whatever it takes, we'll get the job done. But it would be, now that's just for me working, all right? If I have a helper with me, it's gonna be double that rate. But we'll also get it done twice as fast. So in the end, it's gonna cost them the same. But you have to articulate that because people hear, if you're gonna charge them or $250 an hour to do a leaf cleanup, I'm like, look, I can do it myself for $125. Oh, well, that's better. I'm like, it's gonna take twice as long. That is kind of rare, and I'm not going to do that for my customers. I'm not going to do that because I already know, the yards. So most of the yards that I have are about the size of my yard, maybe smaller, but varying different degrees of leaves. So that's what works for me. So you may want to try that. Send an email to your customers and let them know you're going to keep coming back. I don't ask them anymore. If they don't want me to come back, they tell me. 100%. Some of them, they don't care if the leaves are in the yard. I mean, they just don't care. It's their yard. If they, say, nah, we're not going to do that, that's perfectly fine. But when I come back in the spring, you're going to get charged to clean up. And I don't tell them that. Or, have I told anybody that? I think I have. And they're okay with it. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. But 99% of the time, I just keep coming back, and they know by now, because I had a bunch of customers for many, many years, and we keep the yards looking nice. If we mulch the leaves, we're not string trimming, we're not edging, because there's none of that's needed. So that which would have taken more time, we're blowing and mowing, and that's it. Sometimes we're just blowing. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys. It has been an absolute phenomenal way to increase your work in the winter. And because when I first started, I would ask the customer, do you want us to come back every 2? A lot of them said no. But if the next year I didn't ask, I just kept coming back. And I guess they liked the look of the way the yard was, so they didn't tell me to stop coming back, and we were doing a good job for them. So try that, okay? Try that and see how that works for you. Let me know down in the comments how you do it. Let me know if you have the same kind of technique that I use as far as just, coming back every 2 weeks. And once everything's done, end of December, January, January and February, there's nothing to do unless they want us to do extra stuff like pruning crepe myrtles or something. But, you know, I tell them, hey, you know, first week of March, we'll be back to mowing, and I'll email them the schedule and all that. But that's what I do, and it has worked very, very well. So I would ask you guys, you know, give it a try. If you have a different way to do it, if you have a way that is maybe you modified it a little bit, you do it a little bit different than I do, then put it down in the comments, because I don't know everything. I'm going to tell you guys, I'm just telling you what I do. I've made so many mistakes, and I'm always modifying stuff. If there's a different way to do stuff or a better way to do it, I'm all for it. Especially if it makes you become more efficient. If I can get it done faster and keep the quality up, then that basically puts more money in your pocket. So after this video, you can see it's raining. The tropical storm, or right now Hurricane Helene, which is out in the Gulf of Mexico, they have changed the forecast. Atlanta's going to get a direct hit as of right now. And it's 10 o'clock, so that storm is supposed to come straight up. It's actually going to be a Category 2 hurricane all the way up to middle Georgia. So I'm praying that after it gets over land, it really weakens. We can't handle a category. We just not around here. We're not. Our buildings are not set up for that. I've been in a tropical storm here, and it's bad. Supposedly, the winds are going to be sustained 50 mile an hour, between 35 and 50 mile an hour, with gusts up to 70 to 80. That's what I'm worried about, is the gusts. Right now, the air is completely still because we don't have any of the rain bands yet. But the river birch, I had contemplated removing that. That river birch is coming out of there sometime soon if the storm doesn't knock it over. And then I have a big, huge Leland cypress on the other side of the house that I planted. It was just like 3 feet, and it's enormous now. So there's a guy at my church that he's an arborist. He has a tree company, and I'm going to get him out here to quote that. If I could, I would remove those giant oak trees, because number one, they're killing my grass, because that's west and it blocks the hot sun right there on the hump of the yard. But they're not in my yard. And the wind is going to be coming this way. So if those trees fall, they can hit my house. I'm trying to figure out what is the best course of action. If that river birch falls, it will crush this box truck. If I put the box truck in the street, the oak trees can fall and hit the box truck. There's no, I was thinking about maybe just moving the box truck over here. But I think if the wind blows this way, it's probably going to fall that way. So I don't, if it falls, it may not. The tree looks healthy, but I don't like that tree. It throws leaves everywhere, and those limbs, it's just all year long. And yeah, so I used to have branches that hung over the driveway, and I cut all those, but that river birch has got to go. I'll probably plant, I really would like to put a palm tree there, but I may put another ginkgo tree. That tree is almost 20 years old, and that's as far as it's grown. They're very slow growing, and those are nice trees. So, but yes, that's praying that praying that the tree doesn't come down. So, but it's coming down with the chainsaw. Yes, sir. All right. Well, I will. I'm going to go ahead and upload this video today, and I will do some other updates as the tropical storm gets here. Hopefully, it's tropical storm or less, because if it ends up still being a Category 1 hurricane in Atlanta, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys up to date. Be well. See you on the next video.